Hi, I'm Tanchu, and where the heck have I been? So I know it's been like almost 2 years since I last uploaded a video, and I would apologize for that, but I've kind of just been falling through a rabbit hole, and I hope you'll understand. Wait. Who are you? Oh, me? I'm your replacement. So as I was saying, I kind of fell through a VTuber rabbit hole. It didn't start off as VTubers, but it went on to that, and I'll explain. So I used to have a model I made from scratch to sort of represent me when I was talking on my YouTube videos. And that model was kind of the first thing I did in Blender. So there's a lot wrong with it. So of course there's going to be a lot wrong with it because it's your first one. So, and then at the time, a post about V-Roy Studio was coming out. So I was kind of interested in that because it looked a bit easier to use. Using VRMs was starting to appear, and I thought, you know what, let's give that a go. So I loaded up V-Roy, and I got really frustrated at the the size of the models. And I don't mean like how big they were in a program. I mean like the fatness of them. Like I wasn't able to make my character fat, and like I was trying to recreate my watermelon character, and it was just it was really frustrating because like the sliders didn't go any further. Like she was kind of like slightly not even overweight, just like slightly larger than your average anime girl, and I was like come on, please. When I did that, I then took her into Blender, and I found out about Cats. Which is a plugin for VTubers. And this is going to be like very early to 2020, just a bit before the Panini started in my country anyway. So I made one, and I then messed around with her. I got it to how I wanted it to look. I used her once, not even for YouTube, just like I think it was on Instagram actually, then never again. This was just before the big VTuber craze took off, so like nobody seemed to respond to what I was doing, and then I was like, meh, whatever, I'll just keep going. So I was messing around with VTuber models, and I mean V-Roy VTuber models, and I was showing people, it's like, hey, this is a thing that I've sort of edited, I took it from this and this is what it's become. And I then showed it to a friend of mine who used to do some voice work for me for my webcomic. Surprise, surprise, I once did a webcomic. It was under a different username. Yeah, it was on Tapas. It's still up if you want to go have a look at it. I will leave a link in the description. But I was talking to this person, and they were like, hey, it's been 3 years since you've done your webcomic. Don't worry, this is relevant. I'm not going off on a tangent. It's been 3 years since you've done your webcomic. Where are you going to actually come off of hiatus anytime soon? And I was like, well, I've started making VTubers. Because my attention span's the one of a gnat. I'd been kind of thinking, well, okay, so you can pose these characters, you can do what you like, chase their expressions. So like, why can't you make a comic from it? And this friend said out loud what I had been sort of brewing in the back of my head. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's do that then. So I started with trying to learn how to do characters for a webcomic, because I was like, why hasn't anybody really done this? I've seen there are 3D comics out there, don't get me wrong. A lot of them try to go for that realistic, I want to say realistic shit. No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade, but there is a certain creepy factor that comes with some 3D comics. Not all, there are some great ones, but there are some very, very, very creepy ones. And it's just the way it's rendered and or posed, or like just the context of some of these ones. So it's a bit, I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. I didn't want to become one of those people who's doing it with a realistic shader. Not when I had been a 2D artist. I thought, okay, there must be a way of doing this. Some animes, like particularly idol animes, has started doing 3D dancing, and I'd noticed that. So then I was like, there's got to be a way to do it, and it doesn't have to be like exclusively to manga. Like my natural drawing style is not this. It's not manga. It's just that sort of hybrid Western comic style. I wanted to be able to basically recreate my drawing style in 3D. You'd think it would be easy, right? So this is where rabbit hole number 2 comes in, and it is linked to rabbit hole number 1 of VTubers. I joined a community called BNPR, Blender Non-Realistic Photo Rendering. And NPR, non-realistic photo rendering, is the term given for when something 3D doesn't look 3D. And I'm talking about the way it's rendered, not the way the characters look. So like, for instance, I wouldn't say like Pixar are not like NPR. I mean, they've started doing NPR recently. That's another topic. But like the general typical Pixar style is not NPR to me. There's some people who would argue, but like just because the characters are cartoony, that doesn't mean it's NPR because it's not rendered in a cartoony way. The hair's still realistic, the eyes are still realistic, the skin looks like skin. Like, so computers are geared up to do realism. So you have to break a computer's understanding of what realism is. It's not as easy as just going, hey, let's just slap a toon shader on it, because it's not, because the computer doesn't think in the same way that a person would. So you have to get into tricks to do with normal editing and normal shading and like generated face novels. Anyway, so I'm still working on the comic. You can see here, I've got a couple of like screenshots for you of where I was at and was working. I then got stuck in environment shading because that's a whole other bag if you want it cartoony. And it just comes down to the fact that there aren't the tools out there that you need to do this properly. In fact, I belong to a number of groups where we're making the tools to be able to do it properly. Although I've been like not very helpful recently. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so point number 2. What happened in regards to VTubers? Right, so I did my own one for funsies. Then I did another one, change of design. This might be a reoccurring theme for me. So if you see me with a completely different model, don't panic. It just means that I've done another one for myself. Anyway, so I did one for myself, and I was finding that I was enjoying doing like this kind of 3D, you know, the computer only 3D. Yeah. And then my brother contacted me and he was like, hey, I want to do more streaming. Can you do one for me? And I thought, okay, sure, why not? Like, I've got nothing else to do. In theory, I've got loads of other things to do, but like I thought, you know, he wants one, I'll do one for him because I'm a good sister like that. I then got contacted by another friend. They weren't asking for a VTuber. They were sort of talking about, oh, I might VTube at some point, and they made custom keyboards, and I was like, let's do a trade. They did me a custom keyboard, which is lovely. I love it, and I did them a VTuber. Now we're going on to I posted up what I was doing on ArtStation. I posted up on ArtStation because there was a job for those who have disabilities in the game industry. And I am someone who has a disability. I have something called fibromyalgia, and it affects my energy and my ability to do things, which included 3D printing actually. It made it very, very difficult to do 3D printing. I have to cut that out for now until it's 3D printing gets better and faster, and I will return to it one day. But till then, I'm kind of quite happy doing like this kind of thing. Yeah, this kind of thing. So I posted my work on ArtStation for a portfolio review for this job, and I didn't get it. Fair enough. It was a shot in the dark. Why not? Then I got contacted by someone called Williker.
Well, that could literally just...
You can't outrun me!
Yes, I can!
Williker wanted me to do him a model. He was like, how much are your prices? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't do this, like, commission-wise. Like, I'd never been commissioned for something like that. And I was like... gave him a really, really low number. Like a number I know now is really, really low. But because I'd never done one before, I was like $200. Which, if anybody knows anything about VTuber prices and how much work goes into it, that's like, Anyway, so I said $200 to him because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Are you okay with that? Like, are you okay? And they were like, yeah, no, he's fine. He was like, yeah. The commission itself, the process of the commission itself was a disaster. No hate to Willika at all. He's one of my friends now, but like, he and I hadn't done a commission like this before, and it had been years since I'd done commissions, and he had never commissioned someone, so it was like a recipe for disaster. So it was a lot of like him, you know, asking for more than he should have, or like changes too many times, me not being able to say no to him. In the end, we got there, but it went down really well, and his numbers have gone up really well. So if you want to check him out on Twitch, I will leave a link to him as well. Anyway, so I finished Willika. I was just kind of looking into doing my own things for a while, and then people kept asking me. So people would be like, hey, how much are your models? And I'd be like, I don't know. I haven't worked out prices because I keep thinking I'm not going to do it. Then I'd be like, $200. And then like people would be like, that's too low. I will give you more money than that. I'm like, thank you. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. About that time, people were starting to do iPhone tracking. And I was like, I want to learn how to do that. So I got myself a secondhand iPhone, got myself Elite Motion, hence the hands. And I went ahead and learned. And this is the model I learned on how to do it. There's some things I would change about this model. To be warned. But like the hands themselves, I think need work. Anyway, so I did this model, and it was September by this point. I was kind of working on my webcomic. I'm stuck, basically. I'm stuck on a design for something that's really important. I've tried hiring other people to help me. It's still not getting to the place where I want it to be, and I think it's because something fundamentally. It's basically the place where the comic takes place is. I'm struggling to design it because I'm trying to design it in a way that's better than I can design. And like this happens sometimes, you get stuck on a thing, especially if it's an area that you're not very used to, because there's so many factors. It's like, how do I want it to shade? How do I want to texture it? How do I want it to look this way or that way? And I have to decide before I go ahead and do anything else, because it's literally the first shot of the comic. It's the first establishing shot, and it will set the tone for the rest of the comic. And if I have to make sure it is going to work, otherwise I could waste a lot of time. So that's kind of in the back of the mind. I was kind of stuck on that. I'd done a couple of characters, and I decided for funsies, because I'm an idiot, to do a giveaway. Now that doesn't sound bad in itself, but I couldn't choose winners. Okay, so here, don't judge me. I chose 11 winners. I chose 11 winners. At this point, I have done 6. I have finished 6. And each one, I have learned something. I have become better for it. And because it's a giveaway, a lot of people have been very patient with me as I am learning. And I've also had people message me going, what are your commission prices? And I still don't know. So my comic's on pause. I am working through these VTubers. I was on number 6. This was a person called Tayo, and they're delightful.
I don't think my pistol works on Satan. Oh, you whore. Okay.
They've been really, really supportive of me. Not saying that the other ones have. They have, of course, have been. But like, they've been really, really supportive of me, and have really pushed me to be active on social media with what I'm doing. Because I kind of was like, oh, I don't think I'm allowed to share what I'm doing because it's not my place to show a model. It should be up to the person who will then own the model, like debut it themselves. And it just so happens the 5 who I've done before them have not debuted their model at all. It's just been a non-stop denial of dopamines of a job well done. So it's just kind of one of those things where like, oh, I wanted to show off what I was working on but I didn't want to do it without someone's permission. I'm now too afraid to go ask them, hey, can I show off your model, even though you haven't like shown it off yet? I'm waiting for them to do their thing. That's fine. They can take the time they need. I'm not gonna like get on someone's case for not showing them all that I've made for them, because it's their right. That's just my policy. Anyway, so Tayo was like, no, go ahead, show it as you work on it. So I did, and it's been great to get, the response has been fantastic. I've been loving it. It's been really interesting to see people like want to follow along and see a working progress when I wouldn't normally. But the other thing I did under Tayo's instructions was I recorded everything, every single step of the way. Okay, I might have missed an hour or two here and there of something, but I recorded 35 hours worth of me working over 3 weeks. So that's how long it takes to do a model for me. I have it all recorded. Currently, I'm editing it into hopefully about 2 to 3 hour time lapse at 10 times speed. But what I also want to do is I also want to explain what I'm doing roughly, kind of like I used to do with my old 3D printing videos. So expect that in the future, hopefully in the near future. But yeah, I just wanted to catch out everybody on what's kind of going on. Looking towards the future, I obviously will finish the rest of these VTubers. I'll try and record the rest of them so you guys can see like what I'm doing. Then after that, I got a few commissions to do, ones that I really want to do as well. Then I might actually officially open for commissions with correct pricing. People are gonna help me price myself, which I sorely need. And then I'm gonna look back on my comic and stuff. But the other thing I kind of want to do is I kind of want to get back into drawing. So like this channel's always been about 3D, and I've mentioned before that I used to be a 2D artist. What happened was I burned out on my webcomic. I had a couple of really nasty experiences in regards to 2D work, a convention that ripped me off, a art gallery that represented my work really badly, and that kind of just, along with like my inability to keep up with a posting time for a webcomic, just burned me out on drawing entirely. However, it's been 4 years now. Finally, I'm starting to feel the urge. I am waiting to be able to afford a like Samsung tablet or something like that to be able to bring myself away from my desk, because I am chained to this desk constantly, and I want to be able to go sit on the sofa in front of the telly and just draw. And so you might start seeing more drawings from me, and I'll be honest, I've been looking at TikTok. Shocker, I know, but like I really like the look of sticker businesses, so I'm thinking about possibly, if I do some really cute artwork, possibly selling it stickers. That's a huge maybe. I'll probably talk about that on TikTok more than here, so I'll link to my TikTok. It's empty right now, but like I promise, like as soon as I can get a hold of one other tablet, because they're all out of stock after Christmas, I will sort of show you what I intend to do with that. So I'm going to be very busy, but also I am quite a slow poster, so you'll have to deal, because everything I do takes time. I sadly can't post once a week. It's probably going to be like once a month, more of that kind of thing. But it might be a range of things that you see on this channel. It's going to be VTubers, it's going to be comic book stuff, it's going to be me just talking in general, or stickers maybe. Right, anyway, I won't hold you up any longer. You can get, I'll salute you on your merry way through YouTube and the internet. So thank you very much for listening. I'm tired. I'm going to go to sleep now. Bye.